Hi, welcome to Learn Language Like a Linguist. I am Roy. In this video, we are going to introduce the literals in JavaScript. So the first question is, what is a literal? A literal is a notation to represent a value, and it's atomic. For the perspective of the compiler, it can produce the value directly rather than generate it in the runtime. That is to say, the literals are fixed value in the compile time. There are 4 literals in JavaScript. Decimal, nothing to say. Binary, prefixed by 0b. Octal, prefixed by 0o. Hex, prefixed by 0x. And the exponent. The exponent indicator is e. Well, they are so simple that I don't want to talk more. In JavaScript, one of the interesting things is 0. You have to remember there are 2 kinds of zeros in JavaScript, positive 0 and negative 0. And they're different, although both of them are representing 0. Fortunately, it's not hard to distinct them. You just need to remember that only 2 negative zeros come to a negative 0. Others will return positive 0. Another interesting thing in JavaScript is the magic addition. What's the result of 0.1 plus 0.2? Please try it by yourself. Well, this issue is so classical that I don't want to waste my time to explain. There are a lot of articles for it. Here I give you an excellent website explaining it in details. And I would suggest you check absolute value rather than the result of arithmetic operation in your branch checking code. In this way, you can make your code more robust. It's a good habit, just keep it. There are 3 kinds of string literals in JavaScript: double quoted string, single quoted string, and template string, which is backquoted. In single or double quoted string, if you want to start from a new line, then you should follow a line terminator. If you want to start a new line in more natural way, please use string template. There are a lot of interesting things in template string. Boolean literal, true or false. So simple, nothing to say. Oh really? There are other things that can also represent true or false. Let's figure out the objects that can represent false in ES10 standard. There are 6 objects that could represent false. They are false, 0, null, undefined, none. None means not a number. It's used to represent the infinity in the mathematics. We are not going to introduce it in this video. And empty string. Please notice that the empty string doesn't include the string that contains only white spaces. It only refers to the string has 0 size. The non-literal. For example, we have variable a equals to null. It represents a nothing object. Okay, exactly, a quoted nothing, since there is an object representing nothing in the runtime. Looks so simple, nothing to say. Not really again. Let's try to figure out how to represent nothing in JavaScript. There are 2 approaches. The first is null object. that we've introduced. The second is the special object named undefined. Let's say we have a variable, but it's not assigned a value. Then the compiler will fill in undefined object to this variable. And usually, if we want to specify nothing to variable intentionally, we may use a null object. Of course, you can break the rule. But what's the rule here? It's not hard to understand if null or undefined exists. Then you may have to check them before any operation. Otherwise, your program may encounter errors. The null object pattern is used to remove the need to check the object representing nothing. However, in JavaScript, there are two objects representing nothing, undefined and null. So in practice, you have to check them both. Now let's talk about the rule. The old rule that we described previously is that undefined for accidental and null object for intentional. However, it's just in theory. In the daily practices, you don't care who is who. You only care nothing. You have to check if it's nothing object and select proper operations on it. Here is a picture to indicate the principle of null object pattern in UML. Let's say we have a client that requests resources from somewhere. The null object pattern suggests us create an abstract class that extends two possible input types. For real object that we expect, it works according to our implementation of the request function. If it encounters null object or undefined, then its request function does nothing. Okay, it's not hard. The point of this design pattern is to separate the null object checking code from the normal request function, so that we can make the function clean and better for maintenance. To implement null object pattern, we need special types. Nowadays, there are two available types. Any one of them can meet our requirement for null object pattern. The first is option type. In some languages, it's named maybe type. It's easy to understand. Maybe is the type we expect, or maybe it's nothing. Its alternative is a nullable type. The option type comes from functional programming, and nullable type often appears in object-oriented paradigm. And nullable type often appears in object-oriented paradigm. Both of them can be nothing or meaningful type that your function nullable type is built in JavaScript. The literals are nullable type. But ES10 doesn't support option type. Generally, we can construct an option type with monad. Well, we're not going to do it in this, maybe next time, or maybe future, I don't know. Now let's try an interesting exercise. I have a friend, really good friend. He was an embedded software programmer, so he used to program in C language, and he really liked writing code in a short style. That is to say, he refuses to write more code only if he can write it shorter. Well, I have to say, it's the habit of C programmer. Here is the code he wrote, and he said he did similar in C language to check the null pointer. So he thought this code should work fine. However, he expects the function print hello if the print is an empty string. Please help him to debug and try to tell him what's wrong. At the end of this video, let's make a summary. In this video, we introduced the literals in JavaScript. The first is numeric literal. You should remember positive and negative zeros, and the addition of floating points. Well, don't forget about the 15 zeros. You know it. If you don't, it's time to roll back to watch again. You will lose something if you don't do so. Then the string literal. You should remember the double-quoted and single-quoted string, but only template string can let you type new line within the string. The Boolean literal. Please notice the types that is treated as false. It's really important. Finally, the non-literal. Please leave comments and questions below, or interact with me in Twitter. My official Twitter is CoderElegant. Please notice the uppercase. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumb if you like my video. Thanks for watching. I am Roy. See you next time.